Well, all right. It is Tuesday, April 16, 7 a.m. Just getting myself together here. I did do the Alpine orb trade this morning on this chart, and worked. I actually got slippage for an extra tick, and I put it a little extra wide. I was just concerned about the wider range here, so I just want to make sure I'm like kind of outside of it entirely the way it was approaching it right at the open. So it worked real easily. I was in and out in seconds. So that was trade number one. I copied it onto evaluation 29 from 36 also, so on 2 accounts. Really tempted to do this thing on my PA account, but just decided to hold off, especially because there was this potential bigger range. So just decided not to do it today. But it's coming. One day it's coming to PA for sure. All right, so I'm just going to turn my screen off real quick so I can switch accounts and be ready for my normal system here. All right. So nice to start the day with that open trade on 2 accounts. Definitely going to be a powerful setup for me as I move forward in my trading. And I'm really excited to start using it on the PA account. But I just want to make sure that, I mean, really ideally, I'd like to have one more 50K PA account that I don't trade it on and just start trading it on one PA account while I have another one as a backup, and then go from there. When I started looking for charts after I took the first trade today, I had four good charts, and then all 4 of them picked up a bad entry at the same time. Kind of like right when I was going to be ready to start streaming a little bit early. So I had to look for new charts, and I was only able to find 2 charts. One that is good for going for a little bit more than my typical scalp, and then one that is just good for 11 ticks. So I gotta be careful. It seems it could end up being a shorter session if there's only 2 charts. If the charts pick up some losers pretty quickly, then that'll be that. Very rangy today, very choppy so far. I'm going to trade with PA7 first, which is my worst standing account currently. See if this triggers. Did not sleep well last night, so I'll probably tend to be a little bit quieter for a little bit right now. Just I'm so tired. I was waking up like every 20 minutes for some reason. Right, doesn't seem like this is going to trigger. At least not off that bar. See what happens on this one. No. Try it off this, perhaps. Really big bar. This will count, will blow anyway if there's a big drawdown, so just go for it. Actually, maybe it wouldn't because I'm only trading one contract, but let's see. If it triggers, I think it should work. All right, so that worked. Huge bar. So 11 ticks. Trade number 2. Ticks. Every time I take a trade on PA7, I think, oh, I should have copied it onto another account also. Since I'm only trading one contract, you know, it's like it feels like I'm wasting a trade on a $46 win, but also it felt a little riskier for some reason because it's such a big bar. So at the same time, it's like, do I really want to risk 2 accounts at the same time on a huge risk bar? I don't know. Anyway, let's see. I forgot to actually adjust trading days earlier. So this was 12 now. And then this is 5 now, I think. And then this will be 14. All right, update stats here. All right. The other thing I did like about this trade, though, I gotta say, is the bounce off of the opening price line and the bounce off of the blue line, which is the previous day close. So 2 levels of support and the EMA, 3 levels of support. So that's a pretty rock solid area to trade off of. All right, so then I'll go to account 6 next. Both of my charts would have worked right there. This actually would have entered a little bit earlier. But yeah, both huge bars. All right, so good start to the week. Oh, I'm tired. A very choppy day. Very choppy, rangy day. These days are interesting because sometimes these days could be really, really good for my strategy, and then other days it can just get chopped up. So, in fact, I'm down to 2 contracts right at the beginning of my day, or two charts right at the beginning of the day. Isn't a good sign for the day. Usually I know there's a bunch of other charts that I can go to if I lose some charts early on. But today I really looked through a lot. I don't think there's going to be any more to find. This is one of those situations where I am expecting a retest of the high, and I got a short setting up here. So I've gotten burned on these entries so many times when expecting a retest of the high. So if this sets up right here, I'm going to wait until the retest comes in. Okay, I'm kind of glad it didn't look like it was going to trigger right after this bar. So like a full touch. Okay, now I can consider it if it sets up. Looking very bullish though. All right, so there's a bit of a breakout of the range of the day. Where are we on the daily? Oh yeah, we're underneath the range. So maybe this could be a failed breakout. underneath the range. So I don't think I can consider this unless it were to close below the previous open price. It's going to close above, so I'm just going to be sitting on my hands here probably if it triggers. Let's see what this one closes. Closing above too. Oh, closed right at it. It would have worked already. The closing trigger happened too fast for me to make a decision there. I would have liked that if I had time to enter, but I liked it on this chart. Didn't like it on this chart. But the failed breakout is what I was looking for. Yeah, this was nice. If only it would have shown that it was going to close below the previous high of day and give me time to put the trade in. But I've gotten burned on these before where it like closes above and I'm trading it like it's going to be a failed breakout, but then it just kind of bounces where the old high was and continues to skyrocket up. Well, at least my read was right. How are you guys out there doing today? How's the trading going? We'll be trading PA6 next if I get a setup. I haven't really thought about too much of what may be happening. I mean, to start the day, this range is pretty obvious without drawing it. Now we've had an attempt to break out, had a failure of the breakout back in. So just waiting to see if this is going to be, continue to be the high of the day, or if this really is going to break out. I mean, there's the potential of this, which gets a little higher. All right, so this is just going completely back into the range, or what do we got going on here? I suppose if there's a setup above this that triggers long, I'd consider it up here. Just not feeling it going directly into the EMA here, if that were to trigger. But maybe if this one sets up. So the first chart I was looking at triggered, came back. So that one has now failed. So I can no longer use that chart. So I'm down to one chart. And I'm not going to risk an entry on this chart right behind it, just for this to trigger and maybe fail too. So I'm going to wait. Play it safe. I suppose on this chart, if you're playing by the rule that you would move your stop to the previous low if it engulfs on your entry, maybe you can consider this chart still good for now. All right, so it's now triggered on this chart too. But I've seen this a lot where it's like, it does this. It'll trigger on one chart, fail, and then it'll trigger on my slightly bigger chart, and then fail as well. So this might be the way it's looking, like the end of my two charts. There it is. So one thing I can say is, what's the high here? 94.75. Yeah, I think even, let me try something here. Yeah, It didn't work for 11.6 either. So I've got no charts left. Well, this might just be a short stream for me, or I can go off the grid a little bit here and just take an account and just trade it outside of the BS system. But I wouldn't do that with my PA accounts. So I'm definitely, no matter what, not trading with PA accounts anymore. So the only question is whether maybe I choose one of the evaluations I haven't played today. If I'm going to choose an evaluation, it would be 34, just because it's the 25K that I care less about. But if I'm going to do that, then the question begs, is it going to be on a 1 minute chart? Or is it going to be on one of my tick charts? I think if I was going to just kind of free solo it, I would do it on a minute chart. So I don't know, maybe I'll watch the minute chart for a little bit and see if I get a feel for it, if I want to try to trade. So if that's the case, I'm gonna just turn my chart off for a second so I can switch accounts. So if I do anything, it will be on account 34. All right, so let's turn this back on here. All right, so what I'll consider doing is scalping for 8 ticks. And this will be on just account 34. If I do anything. Otherwise, I'll just have to be happy with the 2 a day, I guess. This is the kind of morning it's like, I wish I could just go back to sleep, but most likely my daughter will wake up relatively soon, and if I were to fall back to sleep, she'll be up by the time I wake up, and then it'll be on me to take care of her today. So just got to power through. So I guess there was some yesterday. There was some talk on Alpine's YouTube about MFF changing their rules or specifying the rules, because they say that, you know, micro scalping is not allowed on their platform. So, you know, there's been a lot of back and forth I've seen on Discords about, like, you know, well, what does micro scalping mean? And, you know, they've paid out Alpine 1 or 2 times, And, basically according to what they describe, it sounds like he does what they're saying, they don't allow. But then they said, well, he only did it like 40% of his trades, and 60% his trades were fine, so they paid him. But then I guess they put out a tweet or whatever you call it these days and said, okay, you have to scalp for at least like, I forget exactly what it is, so don't quote me on this, but 25 ticks or 30 ticks or something. Or the trade has to be for like 3 minutes minimum. It's like, who trades that way? Like, how do you own, let's say you're up 40 ticks and it's going against you, and you decide to take it and your profit at 15 ticks, and you were in the trade for a minute and a half. Like, okay, so that violates the rules, I guess. It's weird. I don't trust MFF. They seem shady to me. They have a guy, Sage, that's always in Alpine's Discord, and he's always, just talking all kinds of shit and hyping up, his prop firm, which, that's fine. But he's always like trying to talk some shit about other prop firms and to make his sound better, And then when you ask him a direct question about something that's clearly not better than like Apex, for example, he'll do an end run and gaslight you and try to like, he'll show you a screenshot of someone saying, oh, but this guy got paid, like, look how happy he is. He says we're the best. It's pretty funny. Anyway, for now, I'm an Apex only kind of guy. So this is right back to that level that I was concerned about. I mean, really, the level is here more so, but All right, got a little scalp there. So let's trade 3. It's Eval 34. I'm just kind of freelancing a little bit. This isn't really based on my system, although, it kind of looked like a second entry there. But I like the bounce off the open price, and kind of same way I liked the other trade I took on my other chart. I like this one, the bounce off the open and the bounce off the previous day close. I like this for the same reason, like resistance at the previous day open and previous day close with the EMA behind it. And just going for a tick scalps right now. So, but this is not my usual trading system. Just seeing if I can kind of freelance a little bit and do a little solo mission of, good trades that aren't my kind of strict black and white system or objective system. So 3-0 today, 7-0 for the week, 184. Let's see if that's moved up at all. Oh, still 80%. And now I'm just trading off the 1 minute chart. So in a way, it's kind of nice that I've got no more charts to trade with for my BS system. So gives me an opportunity to just see what I can do, just trading by intuition and my understanding of price action, and just picking my spots and being a little bit looser overall. And I'm setting the stop far, far away. So if the trade works against me, then I will attempt to add a contract and work out of it. And I'm doing this on my evaluation 34. So if it goes wrong and somehow I get stuck in a trade and blow it up, I won't feel horrible about it, because it's a 25K account that I don't intend to continue trading in the future. Originally, when I was thinking about shorting here, I was actually thinking about shorting right off the open price line. I was thinking about just setting like a limit order there, and then grab it, and then hoping it just pushes down 8 ticks, kind of in this back and forth. And then I thought better of it, because there was potential of this being kind of the bottom of the range since, for a long time, since 4:30 in the morning, even though we had this one breakout. So I just decided, what, let it show me it's going to be pushing a little bit before I enter it. if I've already shown myself that I can trade this way, then I might be copying my PA7 today as well. You know, since if I were to ever blow up PA7, I wouldn't feel too bad about it, since it's, you know, it's basically just trying to survive. So I don't have high hopes for it. But I really haven't done any of this at all on NQ since I've switched to NQ. So this is really kind of the first day where I've ever even considered trading like this. I'm still going to be extremely choosy about where I enter trades, because that's where this system, or it's not even a system, that's where this can go wrong. Trading discretionary based on intuition, you start getting into a role, you think you're invincible, you get some wins, and then you just start over trading, and then that's where you get caught. You know, that's where I think I'd blow up my account. Just, you get in a rhythm, you start taking trades, taking them, and then you take that one that's just a little bit too careless or reckless, and you're battling to get out of it, and the next thing you know, you can't get out of it. The accounts are gone. Let's see, this yellow line is the previous day low. So it's interesting, you know, it's holding a support currently. Yesterday's low right here. Went a little bit further, now it's back inside. But now we're trapped between yesterday's low and the opening and the previous day close. So let's see if it can break out of this, or if it gets trapped in this area. If it gets rejected down here, I might be willing to consider it. All right. Yeah, so Apex is having some issues with the 80% off code on the Trade of 8 signups for anyone that doesn't know. But they're working on it, they're aware of it. Rhythmic is fine. Seems like Trade of 8's had a lot more issues lately than they used to have, and it seems like more than Rhythmic. All right, so I'm currently not trading the BS system any longer. I don't have charts to support my strategy for the rest of the day. So I am looking for opportunities to just take discretionary ATIC scalps, just using my intuition. But I'm going to be just as kind of precise about it as I usually am with my system. So I'm not going to be taking a whole lot of trades if I take any more at all. I'm just going to be looking for areas that, for me, I can see whether there's going to be resistance or support and try to play those levels and just try to get a quick ATIC scalper where I can, if I see opportunities. So I haven't done this on live stream at all before. So we'll see. I've gotten one trade so far doing it. We'll see if I take any others. Right now, I don't really know what the market's doing other than this is a area of potential resistance. All right, so it looks like it's trying to break up to the upside, but it is trapped right here. Sometimes when it gets trapped in these areas, you know, it fakes you out, makes you think it's going long, and then it just crashes and burns in the other direction in this case. See what happens. I mean, to me, I have no read on this at all, other than the fact that it's still just an overall range. You know, so I've been playing in the middle. You know, it looks like that's the range of the day, or you can say that those are breakouts, but to me, it makes more sense that this is the range now. So there's a lot of play off the middle, and we had a breakout up here, but it's been basically going from top to bottom in a way. This has been playing off the top tier of the range, so now I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down and gets to the bottom part of the range, but it's just all speculation, right? You know, it gets in these areas where I can see that the price can get trapped. You know, maybe that's not a bad spot for me to drop a limit order, either at the open for a long or at the previous day close for a short, and just try to get those 8 ticks in between there. I just don't have a lot of practice on the 1 minute chart, trading for small scalps and just, you know, winging it. What I would say is if we break the previous day low again, then there's definitely some downside potential to retest the lows of the day. All right. Bit of a boring stream. I don't have a whole lot of topics to talk about unless anyone wants to chat with me. I'm just going to mute my mic for a little bit unless I think of something to say or if I take a trade or whatnot. I'm just tired. I really didn't sleep good at all. And it's 2 nights in a row. The night before I was up all night, or not all night, but up in the middle of the night because of my daughter not feeling well. And then last night I don't know, I guess I couldn't get comfortable. I was waking up every 20 minutes the whole night. All right, I'm here. I'm just watching the chart and seeing if there's any entries I want to take. All right, so again, I'm not trading my BS system anymore today because I ran out of charts already, and I'm just hanging out, looking for kind of discretionary, intuitive trades just based on price action, not according to my usual strategy. So just looking for ATIC scalps. I took one on the evaluation 34, and I'll continue to trade evaluation 34 if I see an area of interest I like to take a trade. Just been a little quiet here. I'm just tired and don't have any topics I can think of to discuss at the moment. But if anyone wants to chat with me, I'm here, and looking for topics to talk about if anyone has any thoughts. Otherwise, I'm just, following the price action. I just made a measured move just to see where we were for this leg up. It looks like we already got there. So, at this point, I'm not really sure what I'm expecting to see. I just know that I have a level here between the previous day close and the opening price that you can see there's a lot of reactions to those two levels. When it gets in between, it gets stuck in between. When it's below, it acts as resistance. And so now we're above it. I'm just waiting to see, is this going to act like resistance here like it did earlier, like here, which is one of these charts. Yeah, that's where my my other trade of the day besides my opening trade was on this tick chart. Just using that level as support there. And didn't know it at the time, but it was, well, I knew it was under the previous day close, but my opening trade was below both levels. So let's see what happens here. If we get a bounce. But yeah, I'm just looking for smaller scalps, just ATIC scalps, and not trading with my kind of objective black and white system at the moment. So I haven't really done this at all since I've started streaming on YouTube. Actually, I don't think I've done it at all since I've started my YouTube channel, period. Definitely not since I've been on NQ, which is just for 2024. So I don't want to push it and go too far with it. The problem I have trading this way is just there's so much room for, like, you start to get into a rhythm. You're just doing like these like small ATIC scalps, making like $38 at a time or $36 or whatever it is. And then you get overconfident, or I get overconfident, and then I start over trading, and then I get caught, right? And then one time you get caught, and it could be your account. So I'm still picking and choosing my spots, but if I see a reaction off of a level, I might want to jump in for a trade. In the past, I've played with, just on my own time, played with just playing the levels, just, putting a buy limit order right on like a previous day close, just, just banking on the fact that it's going to play as support and give you enough of a bounce to get a small scalp. But for as much as that can work a lot of times, what about the times where it doesn't hold, and then you get stuck in the trade? So here I think it would have already worked for 8 ticks. Yeah, definitely would have already worked for 8 ticks. So that's a situation where, doing that would have worked. I probably could have even taken it above this candle, kind of like a normal second entry long. I'm just hesitant here because I already saw a measured move, so. it's fine. Like today, it's like when I'm trading this way, I want to practice this more and try it out and see how I do. But I also don't feel the need to push it because I've already got a decent day going. And, it's no reason to like blow up an account just because you want to trade. I'm not here to trade. I'm here to hopefully eventually make money. So I think that's one part of my trading personality that's always been pretty strong is I've got really good discipline. I've got really good ability to like stick to my rules, stick to things that work for me, and not just change everything at a moment's notice just because. I think I did that very early on, where I was just constantly trying things and changing things, and just getting caught a whole lot more. So today is just a good opportunity to try this out a little bit. If I see opportunities I like. I mean, I like this area. That's why I was talking about it. Definitely two opportunities, whether to set a limit order on the previous day close or try to get in as it got above this candle. Two areas I would have considered taking along there. But the thing that's nice is to not feel like, oh, I need to trade, or like feeling pressure to trade, because then that's when I can start to get FOMO, or anyone could start to get FOMO, right? It's like, oh, I knew I should have done it there. Oh, I knew I should have done it there. And it worked. They both could have worked. I could have had two trades there, or whatever you're thinking. And then so you just jump in, right? Like, okay, I'm just going to jump in long all the way up here. And then, this reversal starts happening, and maybe this thing just continues to go. And so because of your impulse, because you got FOMO, you get into a trade that wasn't really your original idea for a trade, and then you get stuck. So I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm just saying. I see a lot of people, they're thinking about buying here. They're waiting for like bias confirmation, right? And then they jump in here. Well, if you look, I mean, this is a retest of the high with a new high. So the upside potentially could be over for all we know. A lot of people don't know that or think about it or have like an understanding of price action if that's a real possibility. All right, so I'm here. I'm watching. If anyone has any comments, questions, want to talk about anything, I'm down. Otherwise, I'm just going to turn off my mic for a few minutes here and see if something sets up that I like. I would say I appreciate all the likes and subscribes I've been getting lately. Definitely seeing a little bit more action on that side of things recently. And last I looked this morning, I was over 80 subs. So that's starting to pick up a little bit finally. So I appreciate anyone out there that's subscribing or liking for the first time. And I know today's a little bit boring. Unfortunately, I had 4 charts for my BS system that I was working off of right when I started my live stream, and they all went bad. I think right before I actually started my live stream, so I had to look for more charts, and I was only able to find 2. And out of the 2 charts, I did get 1 trade before both of my charts went bad. So other than the opening trade that I'm now taking, I did take this one small ATIC scalp just intuitively. And so only 3 trades today. 4 accounts because I copied a second account on my opening trade. So I don't know. If I was a little bit more confident doing this, like maybe I'd be doing it on this PA account instead, PA7. But I do want to give this its best opportunity to come back. I've got a big hole to dig out of. That currently I'm doing it, like $46 or $50 at a time. So PA7 is, I don't have a lot of high hopes for it, but Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to pull something off. Count 34. This is now 3 days traded on my last little scalp. So, at some point, I'd like to think that I can get to the point where I'll be confident to kind of do this on PA accounts if I don't have any charts from a regular system left, so that I can at least keep streaming and trading. But this is literally the first day I've ever attempted to even do this kind of trading, subjective, intuitive trading. I'd call it discretionary, on a 1 minute chart on NQ. It's literally the first time I've ever done it. So I've got no experience in watching the 1 minute chart except for the past, what is it? How many days have I traded the Alpine trade? Five days. So I've traded the Alpine trade for 5 days live and, live market in the morning. I'm not streaming it. And then I've done 70 plus days on playback on the 1 minute chart for the opening trade. But that's the total experience I have on the 1 minute chart on NQ is really just, looking for the New York Open trade. So just watching this and getting a feel for it and seeing if I can apply kind of my understanding of price action rules to find trades that I can trade without a black and white system. I prefer the black and white system just because, to trade objectively, it's such a easier morning. Honestly, it's like I don't really have to think too much about whether I'm taking a trade. The trade I took today, for instance, it was a clear second entry and the chart had all wins for the session. And I really liked the fact that it was a bounce off the opening price, the previous day close, and the EMA. It was kind of like a no-brainer to take it. The only thing I didn't like about it was the signal bar size was 102 ticks. So I didn't love that. But I took it with PA7, knowing that, if it doesn't work out or goes wrong, like that's an account I'm willing to blow right now, just because it's in so much drawdown. It's below starting balance. I'm trying to dig it out one contract at a time, $46-50 at a time, something like that. So if I even can pull it out of this, it's going to take a long time. So it doesn't have the best chance of payouts. Looking back in hindsight, it's like, oh, I wish I took this on one of the two accounts that's at least got a near-term chance of getting a payout. PA6, above starting balance, got a full drawdown essentially. PA8, same thing, above starting balance, got a full drawdown. So ideally, when I take a win, I'm taking it on one of those accounts, so that's closer to a payout. But just the nature of it, the choppiness, the amount of stacked bars, I was like, you're just playing it safe and going with the account that matters the least at the moment. And it was also the first trade of the day with the BS system. And I've been just noticing, there's a lot of times where my first trade of the day hasn't worked for me, where I just have the unlucky ability to take my first trade and it turns out to be the first losing entry of the chart that day. So I kind of have in the back of my head, like I kind of like starting with an account that isn't a really important account, let's call it, so that if it doesn't work out, it won't matter as much psychologically. So it's kind of like, this is a new thing for me too, but the first trade of the day on the BS system, I'm just kind of putting out a feeler with a less important PA account. Like, okay, is it going to hold up? This time it did, but then the two charts that I had fell apart not long after trades that I wouldn't have taken. So, all right, back to the 1 minute chart here. So we got another push to the highs where we are on the daily. So, what's this kind of level here? You can see there's some support kind of going across there, kind of mixed support not really the strongest. So not surprised that there would be a little bit of a bounce here, but I would also wouldn't necessarily bank on this holding long term. But a lot of times, breakouts fail. So this is a breakout of this range the market's been in for a long time. So it's entirely possible this thing tries to break back in. Never know. All right, so I'm not getting any comments right now. I guess my regulars that usually talk to me aren't around today. So if anyone new here wants to chat, I'm down. Otherwise, I'm just going to turn off my mic for a few minutes here and watch the market and see if there's anything I want to enter. But otherwise, I'll just be watching Alpine in the background. And I'll be back in a couple minutes if I think of something to talk about or if I am getting into a trade. It will be interesting. I mean, this thing seems like it has kind of an upward bias of wanting to break out. But we are at the kind of resistance levels. I'd say this was a breakout and we're back at the resistance now. So definitely not looking for longs. Even though I wouldn't be surprised if we retested the high of the day. And I'm not necessarily looking for shorts at the moment either. So I'm just waiting and seeing. All right, so I'm not surprised we sold off a bit from that level. Yeah, definitely resistance up there. Definitely looking like a big head and shoulders type of situation. Not that I trade that, but aware of it. This is the kind of thing I notice a lot in price action. 2 legs up with like basically a third leg up, and then see what happens. You know, if this starts dropping, I'd almost be tempted to go short, but yeah. Yeah, would have already worked for 8 ticks. So again, I'm not currently trading my usual strategy at the moment. If I take any trades, it'll just be intuitive price action, subjective trading. But I haven't been doing any of that, so I'm just being slow and careful about it if I do decide to take any of those trades. Yeah. This would have worked for the 8-6 I was thinking below if it was rejecting, but it was also kind of like a level here of support. So just waiting to see if there's something like pretty obvious. Like to me, this felt pretty obvious when I took this trade. Just felt like it was rejecting off that level, and I felt pretty solid about it. And that's the only time I'm going to take a trade is when I feel that solid. If it's just pure speculation, guesswork, then if I don't have like a little bit more of a reason to think to take a trade, then I just won't take another trade. And I'm seeing that the open trade is just, I mean, rock solid, right? I mean, I've been watching Alpine Trader trade his opening trade for months now and just making a killing on it. He just got his $36,000 payment from this last payout period in his bank, and it's like all primarily from the open trade. And I'm 5-0 from it on my Apex accounts just since last week. So and also on playback, you know, I've got 70 plus wins between my playback and my Apex trades. So, and only 2 losses with it. So, the more and more I get comfortable with that, the more I'm going to copy accounts. Eventually, I'll include PAs on that as well. And ideally, if I'm having the same kind of success with the open trade that he has, then it makes all the rest of my trading easier for the rest of the day. Because at some point I will copy the majority of my accounts on the open trade, and then I'll just take the few accounts that I haven't traded for the day and trade those during my stream and trading with my system. So if I'm doing that, then I can always have like one account maybe where I'm just doing these kind of like discretionary subjective trades too. But yeah, I'm really happy I decided to finally just start waking up earlier and trying this open trade. Because if I can, be getting these numbers on multiple accounts every day, I'm 5-0 so far. If it's good enough where, with my data that I've collected so far on the trade with, approximately 75 trades, being at about 97% plus on it, at 97% plus, you're basically one trade a day. You're almost all but guaranteeing 5 trades a week that are winners just off that one setup. So that can really change the game for my trading. It also takes the pressure off of just, the more confident I get on that setup, the more accounts I'll trade with it, knowing that, any one bad trade can end up blowing up however many accounts I'm playing on it on any given day. But the odds are really low. I mean, right now it's less than 3% according to my data. So with a less than 3% chance of blowing up on any given day, lean into it, but don't put everything on the line is how I would look at it. And then have the few other accounts that I'm not trading on it be the accounts where, I could be a little bit more aggressive on those accounts than knowing that if anything happens to those, I've still got the accounts that's trading the open. And that's essentially what it seems like Alpine has done. He relies on that open trade. The bulk of all of his profits is really from that opening trade every day. And then he kind of plays around with some other accounts during his stream, that kind of supplements the main accounts where he's making his money. So that's basically what I'm ultimately going to try to emulate to some degree and hope that I can do it long enough to find some success here. All right, so now we're finding this sell-off happen. Not surprised, but just nothing clear to me that said to go short at any of these levels yet. I'm just going to take a 2-minute break. 100 Lot, hey man, how are you? 100 Lot says, looks like you had another good day. Yeah, not bad. Give me a minute. I'm just going to take a 2-minute break and I'll be right back. Hope you don't disappear. Appreciate you coming by. You're one of the only ones that chats with me. So let me, I'll be right back. Appreciate it. All right, I'm back. Let's see here. All right, so 100 lots. Welcome in. If you're still here, hopefully. Let me read what you had to say. So you said you're going to grab a beer. I got 2 fast track elite trader 100K 50% off and pass them. No activation fee today. So those should be up and running next week. I have to wait for Friday payday to activate my 3 Apex 50Ks. Ran out of money. Just a violent short right now at open. Orb wins again. Cool, welcome back. All right, so I'm all caught up. So good job passing those Elite Trader accounts. Yeah, I haven't really looked into Elite Trader at all, other than, I think, is Elite Trader the one that maybe Alpine traded a little bit with? I forget. But yeah, I really don't know too much about them. Hopefully they're good. So let's see. Yeah, for me today, Alpine just got a payout from them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was one of the ones he was using. I get confused because there's Elite and then there's the Earn Max or whatever that one is, and that's the one that he says is scammy. But yeah, he seems to be okay with Elite. I trust his opinion since he's got payouts from basically everybody. So I feel like he knows what he's talking about as far as which ones are good or not. Yeah, Orb worked for me today. This is the 1 minute chart I'm looking at right now. I went short and worked pretty easily on this bar. And actually on extra tick somehow, just slippage in my favor. So I took that on 2 accounts. That's the 2 that have $222. And then here, I'm doing a review just for you here. Personalized review. Then on my normal BS strategy, I took a trade on PA7, just 1 contract because I'm still battling the drawdown. So just 1 contract, 11 ticks. Made $46 on that one. And then I ran out of charts. 100 Lot says, thanks for the personalized review. And then I ran out of charts for my system. So I decided I would just, if I see any opportunities, test out just trading kind of subjectively with my intuition of price action and just going for 8-tick scalps. So I did take 1 on evaluation 34 just for 8 ticks. And then I haven't really seen anything I really loved since then. I was toying with the idea of a long around here. I was talking about whether I can enter a limit order for a long right on the previous day close or potentially get in over the bar here. But I just, I didn't do anything. And then we're all caught up. So 3 trades today. Only 2 I would call from my normal systems now, the Alpine trade and the second trade. And but yeah, 3 wins overall. Obviously the 8 ticks, I'm just doing it on 1 contract while I'm filling it out. So $36 on that one. And no stop on these trades. So if it were to go against me, I would just add a contract and find a way to try to scalp extra contracts while I work out of it. Uh, 100 Lot says, I think you need to run 1 contract for PAs on Orb. Yeah, I really keep considering it. Like, I'm not even afraid to trade 2 contracts on it, honestly. I really, yesterday and today both, I really considered adding it. And today, the only reason I didn't add it was there was the potential of a wider range that I was a little bit concerned about because there's like the opening range, which is happening right at the open. But then there was kind of like a overall level of support going way back into the overnight. And I was just concerned about if it triggered, if I entered it below the range, the smaller range, but I wasn't being careful about the bigger range. I was concerned that it could just bounce off of it and go up. So because I had that in mind, it actually made me go, you know what, today maybe isn't the best day to try it on the PA account. I decided to skip it. Obviously it worked. I mean, it worked in like 3 seconds. It was so fast. But I just want to make sure I'm like definitely confident with it. And the thing is, even trading it with just one contract, I mean, it's way outside the likelihood, but it's possible that even with one contract, I could end up blowing up the account, because I'm not going to take those trades with stops, just like how Alpine does it. So, if I get entered into a trade, even with one contract, and it just goes the other direction, even with one contract, I might not be able to get out of it. So, I just have to keep that in mind. But I'm definitely. Let me see what you said here. That support line there is scary, too short. Easily could have. Yeah. So because I recognize that, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to play it safe. And even though I was playing it safe, I did still do it on 2 accounts. So I think that shows me at least that my confidence level, like I'm not only risking it on the one original account that I got just for the open Alpine trade. But now I've copy traded it to a second account 2 days in a row. So, baby steps. I'm very like meticulous in the way I go about things. I don't just jump on things. I tend to not jump the gun or get too excited and just, go all in. I save that for my poker days. But this is interesting. So now we're breaking out of what the overall resistance for the day has been. So again, the day feels like it keeps trying to push up. Whether it'll really be able to do it or not, who knows? But 100 lots says play it smart. All you can eat. Yeah, trust me, I'm definitely building up towards using it on the PA accounts. I mean, it's like, I'm 5-0 with it, 5 days in a row on Apex, with the playback outcomes that I've seen. Hold on 1 second here. Yeah, so undefeated, right? Undefeated on Apex accounts, 5-0. So a great start with the trade there, and then coupled with the playback results, with only 2 losses in 70 plus trades. I mean, I need to go back and count it again, but I think I'm somewhere around the neighborhood of like 76-2. I believe I'm either 75-2 or it's got to be more than that. I think I'm 76-2, maybe even 77-2. I have to go back and look exactly, but I mean, we're talking about 97+%. So my regular system doesn't touch that. My regular system is 80%. Yeah, 100 lot says your regular system is crushing. 80% is pretty mental. Yeah, 80% is good, but honestly, because of my large risk per trade, 80% is like just barely good enough. Yeah, just 80%. I know. A lot of people are successful with like 40 or 50% because they go for big swings, or they take more losses because they risk less, but they go for big swings. For me, I'm going for such a small amount, just small scalps, but then the risk side is larger. So it helps because I'm cycling through accounts one at a time, that 80% should be able to get me to the promised land, but it's happening very slowly with that system. I feel like the 97+% opening trade, Alpine's trade, is like a supercharger for what I'm doing. If I could be 97% on that trade and then doing what I do otherwise, then I might really be able to do something here. All right, so we got a retest of the high and a pretty quick rejection again. So this is going to be really interesting because we're rejecting back into the range, it looks like. So it'd be interesting if we come back into the range. Now, the way I see it, everything to the upside is pretty well played out. There's an argument to be made that maybe you need another retest of this high now, potentially. But if we've broken out of the range twice and failed twice, that might be it to the upside. And the sell-off is indicating that it's starting to feel like that might be true. So that'll be interesting to watch. 100 lot says it's going to fail a lot more, but I'm going to use a 6-point stop on my PA. Basically want it to go my way immediately or take 25% off my drawdown. But enough about orb, I'll just watch you trade. Yeah, look, the reality is there's like so many different ways to play it, right? I feel like I trust my read of price action enough that if it does go against me, I've seen Alpine work out of enough of the trades he takes that I know it's possible. And then I've also worked out of enough in playback, and also one of the live Apex trades that I took, I had to work out of last week. I think it was the second one I ever took on Apex. I had to add like 5 times to get out of the trade. So I trust my ability to kind of read the market and be able to enter an extra contract and kind of work out of it. So I personally don't want to just accept the loss on a trade that would win otherwise, but I understand your way of looking at it too. The thing is also, like, sometimes the volatility is so spiked that what I'd be concerned about is getting taken out of the trade with a 6-point loss, where it's like even imperceptible that it even moved 6 points to take you out of the trade. That's entirely possible. I've seen stuff like that happen before in certain situations. So, just be careful. What I would say is, if you're going to do something like that, since that's not really the strategy, just test it out first. Make sure you're not getting taken out prematurely because you're too tight on your stop. Yeah, 100 lots says 10 million ways. Never easy. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, just take what works for you and then adjust, right? Or take what's working for someone else and adjust. All right, hold on one second. I got to take a break. All right, so it looks like I'm going to have to stop for the day right now. 9 o'clock, so it's about the time I typically stop anyway. Look at this sell-off. The range is definitely in play. I'm definitely expecting to see the downside of the range for the day. It might get all the way back down here the way that this thing's sawing off. Unfortunately, I just got to stop now and go take care of my daughter. So I'm going to have to call it. But good luck. If anyone else is continuing to trade out there, 100 lot, hope you have a good rest of your day. And congrats on those new elite accounts and get those Apex accounts later when you can get them, and hopefully make something good of them. Yeah, thanks, Hunter, a lot. Appreciate it. Hopefully, I'm feeling good about what I'm doing. So hopefully I'm just going to be able to continue to see the success. I know that that opening trade can fail at any time because nothing is 100%. But if I can ride a nice little streak before it doesn't work, that would be great. It'll probably get me pretty far. And once I can add another PA or two or three, whatever it is, then I'll definitely feel more comfortable to start taking the opening trade on PA accounts. Really, what would make me feel great is having just another backup 50K in case anything goes wrong on any given day. I just start over on the other one and continue from there with the opening trade, because it's just unlikely to get another loss anytime soon if that were to happen. So timing's a thing. But anyway, I appreciate you coming by, and thanks to everyone else that's liked or subscribed or joined me here. Don't forget, 80% discount still going on until the end of the month. Use this code or any other. Just make sure you use the code. Make sure you get a discount if you buy any accounts. And 3-0 for today. Successful day. Good start to the week, 7-0. And 184 wins and 45 losses overall, still at 80%. But yeah, really liking what I'm doing. Like that I took this trade today, this subjective trade, and looking forward to doing a little bit more of this as I move forward, but just picking my spots and trying to be smart about it. I'm not getting carried away. So yeah, like and subscribe if you will. Appreciate anyone that has following me on my journey. And yeah, live streaming every day at 10 Eastern. So that's it for me, and I'll be back tomorrow. Look out. Also, I do a review of my trades every day. So look out for that coming a little bit later on today. All right. See you tomorrow.